So, ma-share din naman kita. Okay. So, our next topic is the cell cycle. Be ready with your paper and pen for note taking again. Anak ka din sa motive test kanina, at yan na magkakawawara at iba. Paano ka mo makaka-answer? Titigamnan ko ba ya kagin record ko ito na attend it online. Tapos na attend la ka mo what's this? Summative. Okay. Okay na? So, I have already posted this in the Google Classroom. I have uploaded this in the Google Classroom. I think 3 PowerPoints were uploaded. Okay, siya ba? Jade, sa Google Classroom. Nakakita ka na?
Opo.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Were you able to open it? Naka-open ba ka mo? Okay. Yes. So may kulot to send nga what's this? Video clip on cell division. Were you able to watch it, children? Were you able to watch the video clip that I have sent? And cell division. Hala, hino na nakakita? Raise your hand. Hino na ang nakakita ang video clip on cell division. Today's topic is actually very, very important. Today and the next 2 days. We will not be able to finish this topic in one session. Medyo halabahiyangan, medyo complicated. So itong cell cycle medyo dere pagod hiya, as complicated as mitosis and meiosis. Okay. Okay, take like a picture. Wait na ha. Kay makuha laking picture kay kailangan. Okay, so we'll be discussing today the stages of the cell cycle. We're done with the cell transport or cellular transport. We're done discussing on how substances are allowed to pass through the very, very choosy cell membrane. Okay. Now, let me ask you. Sige daw, mapakiana ako. How do you grow? Liana, are you there? Liana?
Yes.
How do you grow? How do you grow? If you compare a picture of yourself from a baby picture and a picture or your current picture, perhaps you will notice that you have grown a lot. Question, how do you grow? How did you grow? And how do you grow? Children, anybody? Hala, hinok ma-answer. Anybody? Can I hear from Mark? Mark, how do you grow, Mark? Oh, how do you grow? How did you grow? From a toddler, from a baby or newborn to a toddler up to the present. Yes, Therese. Cherise Ridiang is raising her hand. So how did you grow, Cherise?
I think it's because of taking good care of your body. And since you're taking really good care of your body gets nutrients and it converts to cells.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for the idea. Thank you. Next, Zoe. Zoe is also raising her hand. Please share with us your views on how we grow.
Our human body grows by cell division, which is our topic. It means that when cells are injured or when they die, the body replaces them with new ones. One cell divides into two, doubling its size.
Okay, so that's how we grow. What about Isaiah? How do you grow, Isaiah? How do we grow? Any idea? Alexi was raising his hand kanina. Alexi, do you have any idea?
Receiving nutrients.
You're receiving nutrients from, so when you eat, you grow. Meaning, when you will not eat, you won't grow. Siya? How important is the food in your cells? How important is the food to your cells? How important is the food to your body?
Very important.
How important? And why is it important? Alexi.
Without it, you will die.
Why?
The body doesn't receive enough energy.
The body will not receive energy. Okay, so all your answers are correct. So we grow because we eat. When we eat, these nutrients from the food that we eat are absorbed by the cells. Okay? So when cells absorb nutrients from the food we eat, cell division occurs. And it is through cell division that we grow. Okay, so we will start discussing cell division with cell cycle. Cell cycle. Anybody who knows what a cell cycle is? Cell cycle. Life cycle. Cell cycle. So parang life cycle of the cell. Stages, meaning to say
the process. It is a series of events that takes in a cell, divides and replaces the let's say it goes and divides.
Following certain steps or following certain stages. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, now for today's lesson, we will be guided with these objectives. Describe the stages of the cell cycle. Another is explain the stages of interphase. Again, for today's discussion, we will be guided with these objectives. Describe the stages of the cell cycle. The other one is to explain the stages of interphase. Got to start now. Okay, so we go to the stages of the cell cycle. Give me one stage. Aliana. Kasi kung ano tak nakikita, didihiton ko ang grade as tak matatawag. So give me one stage of the cell cycle. So meron stages meaning more than one. So the cycle of the cell follows more than one stages. So what could be the first stage? Aliana.
Ma'am, gap 1.
Ah?
Gap 1.
Gap 1. Cell cycle. Cell cycle. Francesca, Daniel, any idea? Give the first stage of the cell cycle. Francesca. Nawaray Francesca. Nakita ko pala ato. Yes, Chad.
Prophase. Prophase.
Prophase.
Prophase. Yes.
Another answer. Christian Andre. Christian Andre, give the first stage of the cell cycle. Waray. 3, 4. Participants are raising their hand. Hala, hirahin o. Kera Adamas. Okay. Kera?
I think it's growth.
Okay, next, Jocelyn. First stage of the cell cycle.
Resting stage.
Resting stage. What is the resting stage? What is the other term? What is the biological term for that? Resting stage.
Interphase.
Very good. Who answered that? Was it you, Jocelyn?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for that. So the answer is interphase. Okay, so the first stage of the cell cycle is interphase. Interphase. Okay, how many stages are there in the cell cycle? 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, 1,000, 5 million, pera. 4. Another answer.
3.
Another answer. 3. Another answer.
4.
Another guess. 7. 5. You can give me the correct answer. Grace Love. Grace Love. How many stages are there in the cell cycle? Cell cycle.
8 po, ma'am.
8. Ang dami. Raydel. Any idea?
Parang 4 or
4.
okay.
It might be 5.
Mari Vincent.
7.
7.
4.
Chad.
4.
Alay, Chad. Chad, pera. Chad.
7.
Or naman ang guess.
For the name of guess. What about Anna? Anna Ambil. How do you pronounce your second name, Anna? Gia, Gia. Anyway, now there are but only 2 stages of the cell cycle. The first one is interphase. The second one is, what do you think is the second one?
Ma'am, I can't
What
find
is
the
this?
space. Have to
Outer
Wi-Fi.
phase. Outer phase.
Interphase. Ito sa naman outer phase. Ito sa ko no, outer phase. May interface.
Synthesis.
Answer is, hala, parang kimbinan.
Mitotic phase.
Correct answer. Very good.
Mitotic phase.
Mitotic phase.
Mitotic.
So these are the 2 stages of the cell cycle. The first one is interphase, while the second one is mitotic phase. Mitotic phase. Okay? Asalan hira nga duha ay dire 4, dire 7, dire 8. Only 2. Okay? Now, anybody who knows what interphase is? Who can describe interphase in one short sentence? Or who can describe interphase in just a phrase? Yes, Angeline Colima. The sister of, hala, ano pa daw na mo?
Interphase is a resting stage.
Okay, the resting stage of the
Phase.
cell. So most books describe interphase as the resting stage of the cell. Now, when you hear the word resting stage, is it does the cell really rest? Does the cell take a rest?
No, ma'am.
No.
Delikado. Delikado. Ito din mag-rest. Itong cell, mag-rest nga natin usa ka oras. Mamatay liwat kita usa ka oras.
Patay ita.
Ano?
Ma'am,
Matay
maybe
liwat
it
kita
rest.
naton. Rest.
Mutate.
Kaya ano nga gintawag yan? Kaya ano nga describe hiyang resting stage of the cell?
It spends
mutate.
most of its life in this
Na-rest
stage.
niya pag ano?
Pag
Pero
mutate.
tao, ma-rest gihapon. Pero
Pag-rest,
To
pag-divide.
develop.
the resting stage of the cell. Interphase is the resting stage of the cell. Pero wakamatuuran, this is the point or the time of the life of the cell where the cell is very, very, very busy. Meaning, dire talaga yan na-rest. So, na-rest hiya pag ano. Eh, nasang busy ko na mas nagtatrabaho itong cell during interphase. Nagtatrabaho itong cell. Dako itong trabaho itong cell during interphase. So, if most authors describe interphase as the resting stage of the cell, so ano kariyag singon nira? So, na-rest hiya pag ano. Jade Ogale is raising his hand. So what is your idea? Can you share with us your idea, Jade?
The reason it is called the resting stage is because it is the resting stage between the mitotic phase.
The resting
my
stage.
guess.
Resting stage between mitotic phase. Siya ba?
Tick
Okay, thank you for
division.
that. Thank you. Ano? Sige daw. Na?
Mitotic division.
Mitotic division. Na-rest yet mitotic division. And the answer is correct. Thank you for that, Jade. So, interphase, it is described as the resting stage of the cell. Itong na-rest itong cell, pag-divide. So, dear, terminal ang divide. It has to rest. Pero, it is, as what I've said just a while ago, it is during this stage that the cell is very, very, very busy. Okay? Now, interphase is subdivided into gap 1, synthesis, gap 2. Okay? So this is the whole cell cycle, the overview. So we have in the monitor the overview of the cell cycle. Now, the interphase actually occupies most of the time of the cell is in interphase. Following the interphase is the very short mitotic phase. Okay, so this is the stage. Dito, this is the stage where the cell divides to make 2 new daughter cells. Meaning, before division, cell has to prepare. And it is during this preparation of the cell that the cell is very, very busy. Okay, So this is the whole interface of the cell. Only a little portion of time is allotted for cell division. Only a little portion of time is allotted for mitotic phase. As what I said just a while ago, dida itong mitotic phase, dinhi nagdi-divide ang cell. Now, the interphase is subdivided into G1 or gap 1, synthesis, S for synthesis, G2 for gap 2. So the whole of this is interphase. After gap 2 of interphase follows the mitotic phase. Okay, two very important processes are in mitotic phase: mitosis and cytokinesis. Mitosis and cytokinesis. Please write this down. So meron nga ni kita mitosis. Mitosis is the division of the nucleus. The division of the nucleus. While cytokinesis is the division of the cytoplasm. Okay? So mitosis, in mitotic phase, it is subdivided into two: mitosis and cytokinesis. Cytokinesis actually overlaps mitosis. Dere iton nga kahuman iton mitosis asya na itong cytokinesis. No. The process of cytokinesis overlaps mitosis, meaning to say diri pa nahuhuman pag-divide ang nucleus, nagtitikang na pag-divide ang cytoplasm. Nga after mitosis and cytokinesis, cell will form or will produce two identical cells, which we call as daughter cells. Okay, I repeat. In the cell cycle, there are two very important phases. One is interphase. The other one is mitotic phase. Interphase is subdivided into G1 phase, S phase, and G2 phase. After interphase is mitotic phase, where two very important processes take place: mitosis and cytokinesis. Okay? Okay, so we go to the resting stage of the cell between mitotic divisions or interphase. In interphase, the cell undergoes normal growth. So this is the point in time. It is during interphase where the cell grows. The cell is allowed to grow. Alam nga naman, kay mo pala niya, diretso na hiya ma-divide. Dire, mag-grow laan na hiya. This is the growth stage of the cell. Okay? While cell is growing, it also prepares for cell division. While cell is undergoing growth, it is preparing for cell division. And there are three stages of interphase, is what I've said just a while ago. Gap 1, synthesis, and gap 2. All of these three stages, inihiranga tulo, they all take place in the cytoplasm. While adihiya nga mitotic, adi inihiya na hinanabo ito nucleus. Kuha. Okay. So gap 1, synthesis, and gap 2 phases. Yes.
Ang classmate po namin, si Ana po, ma'am. Hindi po siya she can't hear anything po due to bad Wi-Fi.
Ilang, sige. Kadto na lahira ito. Pero nabati ka mo haak.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
Klaro
po.
taktingog. Klaro taktingog.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay, siya analahi anak ko in area where signal is good. Okay, so 3 stages of interface. Gap 1, synthesis, and gap 2. All of these 3 substages of interface occur or take place in the cytoplasm. Inihira nga tulo na hinanabo cytoplasm, while mitotic phase occurs in the nucleus. Check this down please take this down. Ay danay takdininakan, asa takdinihin mga question during summative test. Okay. Stages again. Gap 1, synthesis. Gap 2 stages or phases. So let's take gap 1. Okay. So what happens to the cell during gap 1 phase? So these are the significant events. So very nga significant events, mga importante nga panhinanabo during this particular stage. Okay. It is during gap 1 that cell grows in size. Masulig hiya. Masulig kay ano? Why will it grow? Why will the cell grow? Or why does the cell grow? Basta kusa na lahiya nga masulig. Tasya ba? Anong answer ni Alexi kanina? Na ano yan nutrients? Absorb. Very good. So it will take in nutrients. Dinhi nga stage itong gap 1, makusog itong absorption itong nutrients. Kung baga bata, makaon niya. Kasi nga itong infant, itong mga newborn, makakanotice ka mo. Makusog kasi cell division pag newborn. Makusog itong cell division. Asa nga after a month, itong baby, dako na. Dako itong changes in terms of size. From newborn to 1 month-old baby. Kay ano? Makusog itong cell division. It is during this stage, in gap 1, it is during this stage that cell keeps on absorbing food. Keeps on absorbing nutrients so it can grow in size. Okay, another significant event. mRNA and proteins are synthesized. So din hit gap 1, mahihimo an mRNA or messenger RNA and proteins. Protein molecules are very important in the cell. The cell is mostly protein. Aside from water, the cell is mostly protein. Okay, so here, cell will keep on absorbing nutrients to make RNAs and proteins. It is also during this stage that many organelles are made. Damo itong mahimo nga mitochondria when it is a plant cell. Damot mahimo nga chloroplast. So in the case of plant cells, since they make their own food, more chloroplasts are made during this stage. So kung damo ang chloroplast, damo itong mahimo nga food. So damo na nga itong available nga food, makinahanglan hiya hindamo nga mitochondria to process the food produced by the chloroplasts. So what happens is number of chloroplasts are increased, number of mitochondria are also increased during this stage. Okay? Okay na? So, gap 1. Dinhiha, gap 1. Makaka-notice ka mo. Pie chart inihiya. Pinakadako nga space Din hit on pie chart is gap 1. Meaning, the cell has more time to grow, has more time to make RNAs and proteins, and make organelles. Okay? So, ini nga tulo, most allotted time is in gap 1. Okay. Next, we go to synthesis stage. Synthesis stage or synthesis phase or S phase. Important events. DNA is copied or replicated. In most books, S phase is replication stage of the cell. Replication stage. Here, DNA is copied or replicated, meaning to say DNA makes a copy of itself. There ila nga ginko-kopya, magkopya nga ni exactly the same. Replica. You know what a replica is? Have you seen your replica? Nalahin na nakakitan era replica.
I've only seen the Mona Lisa replica.
Hinoad to, in-answer. Please identify yourself pag na-answer ka mo, ha? Hinoad to nga in-answer. Mona Lisa replica. Marian, hala, siguro nga dito kita kan Marian. Marian, are you there? Marian. Nakita mo na ba? Have you seen your replica, Marian? Turn on. Did aton aton restorya did turn on the microphone. Microphone. Turn on the what's this? Sorry. Turn on the camera. Otherwise, kita ka pagpipinanawagon, dire nag-uunit camera at dire makuha nabsinan ko. Maunit camera. Okay. Hino na nakakitaan ira-replika. Waray. Althea. Isaiah. There, Althea. Isaiah. Nakakita ka ng replika? Wari pa nakakita ng replika? Face a mirror and you will see Marian Rivera. Face a mirror and you will see Ding Dong Dantes. Tinato bang kahin mirror? Ano tinot? Ano tin? Nakikita. Your reflection. Your own reflection. That is your replica. So, kasi itong replica. When or during synthesis phase, the chromosome makes an exact copy of itself. Ang uusa, magduduha. Pero nakita kita na atubang kita ng espiyo. Ang uusa nga Marian Rivera, nagduha nga Marian Rivera. Ano? So maatubang ka nga ng mirror, itong kinikita, direhe, upat mga artista, di mo kayong nilalat mga artista. So direhe Ding Dong Dantes, it naatubang haim, ha? Ikaw it naatubang haim. So you see your reflection, you see your replica. Okay, so S phase. During this stage, the chromosome makes an exact copy of itself. Maghihimuhiyahin iya kapareho. Exactly the same. Okay? Look at the bands. Hello? Hindi rin pareho. Okay, anyway, we will discuss that when we will explain that when we discuss DNA replication. Anyway, so dapat kasi pareho tiya, kaya nung nag-iba, otherwise nag-mutated tiya. Okay, so S phase, the DNA is copied or replicated. Each of the cell's chromosomes duplicates to become two identical sister chromatids attached at a centromere. Nasa nga identical sister kaya ano nga iba dito picture. Picture lawat dari siya. Okay, anyway. So, kung anot mga bands din kung anot kadagko, anot size itong mga bands asya gihapon it aadi. Kay replica nga hiya. Okay. So, we call this as the sister chromatids. Okay? Ano to? Now, di ba nagduha na hiya? The two sister chromatids, so meron nga ni sister chromatids, they are exactly the same. They are exactly the same. Never mind dalahin nga bands dapat kasi itong mga bands pareho ha din original copy. So the sister chromatids are joined together by a centromere. Tawag hit niya centromere. Okay, centromere inihiya, centromere inihiya. Again, the sister chromatids are joined together by a centromere. So we go to gap 2. Kanina synthesis kita. So meron nga na synthesis, ano to? Chromosome is, or the DNA is replicated.
Rapid or replicate.
Okay. So the other term used in this stage is DNA replication. So the DNA replication actually happens or occurs during synthesis phase or S phase. So DNA is being copied or replicated. And the two chromosomes are joined together by the centromere. So this is how the chromosome will look like after S phase. And usa han gap 1 dig. Usa laan na hiya gap 1. Tapos pagka desynthesis nakahimo pa hiyahin usa naghimo hiyan iya kapadis kapareha. Tapos gin dugtong hira hin centromere. Okay. So we go to gap 2 or D2 phase. So these are the important events or significant events. Period of rapid cell growth. Period of rapid cell growth. Inihiya ikaduha na ini nga pagsulig hiton cell. First cell growth takes place in gap 1, synthesis, gap 2.
Gap 1.
Gap 1.
Very good. Gap 1. So gap 1. So the first cell growth of the cell, first cell growth occurs in gap 1. So gap 2. mRNA and proteins are again synthesized. Masarin ka naman. Ma'am, nanhingain naman adto. Ginamit ang substances nganhan energy han gap 1 in synthesis. DNA replication needs energy and other substances. So gagamiton ang gin-produce nga substances han gap 1 in synthesis stage. Meaning pag-abot ang gap 2, the cell will again absorb nutrients for growth to make RNAs and to make proteins. Not only that, to make organelles again. Okay? Kasi gagamiton inihira in the next stage of the cell cycle. Ano ang next stage ng cell cycle? Nagamit na kasi ang energy. synthesis. Nagamit na ang mRNA and proteins in synthesis. So, the cell might run out of substances. So what the cell will do is it will again absorb more nutrients for it to have more energy for cell growth. To make RNAs, to make proteins, can nagamit itong yan energy, and to make organelles as well. Okay, so another important event. Centrioles are replicated. There na, di ba nag-replicate na ang DNA during S phase. Now in gap 2, the part of the cell that will be replicated is the centriole in here. Actually, centrosome in here. Centrosome. So dito centrosome is the centriole or are centrioles. So, uusala inihiya dati, usala. Tapos, inihiya magduduha. Magduduha iton hiya dida. You will understand why when we discuss mitosis. Kung kay ano nga magre-replicate iton hiya, kay ano nga magduduha, kay ano nga maduduplicate. Okay? So, gap 2, centrioles are replicated. Microtubules are made during gap 2 in preparation for cell division. So inihiya nga gap 2 ng mga important events, the cell is now preparing for the next stage, which is mitosis. Kasi ka naman, microtubules, dinhihimuhiya, didahitong cell. Yes, during gap 2. Microtubules are very important in the movement of chromosomes in animal cells. Animal cells. Okay? No. Microtubules, kuha na ini plant cells. Kay it ginagamit ha animal cells are the centrioles. Anyway, so we go to the next. Dali lang. Para ko kapipid lang. Here. Okay, so we're done with interphase. Dalawa no ini nagpapa inay mumutala nga de. Okay, so we're done with the gap 2. We'll go to mitotic phase. Mitotic phase. Mitotic phase follows after interphase, diba? As what I've said kanina, as what I've said before, there are but only 2 stages of the cell cycle. One is interphase, where the cell prepares for mitosis, and the second phase is mitotic phase. So mitotic phase follows after interphase. Here, the cell divides to become 2 identical daughter cells. 2 identical daughter cells. Unlike in interphase, mitotic phase is subdivided into 4 stages. Do you know what these 4 stages are? Ano? Ella, Turla, what are these 4 substages of mitotic phase? Ella, adto na nga turog ni Ella. Ada pa, lens, strobo. Ba? Man daw. Ipinanawag waray dida. I-close ko din hiya. Okay, sige, hinuad to.
Lance po.
Lance, okay. So, what are the 4 divisions, subdivisions, or stages of mitotic phase?
I don't know po.
Ah, wala. Waray ka pagbasa lang. Ginkuang ko naman na ito. Ano pa daw? Post. Vincent. Marie Vincent. Marie Vincent. Marie. Waray. So absent. Joseph Anyosa. If interphase has 3 substages, mitotic phase has 4 substages or subdivisions. What are these 4? Joseph? Waray liwat?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, yes. Joseph, do you know the answer?
Hindi po.
Sabot nga waray pagbasa. Last, Ninia Ramirez. The 4 substages. Anybody who knows the answer?
Me po.
Me po.
Identify yourself. Sino po?
Justin G. Lola po. From 8.
Okay, Jolola. Jolola siya?
Opo.
Okay, so what are the 4 substages of mitotic phase?
First is prophase. Second, prometaphase. Third, metaphase. And fourth, anaphase. Siya ba?
Okay, thank you for that. Another answer. Asa na kunta medyo waray ka asya. Daw. Another. Hala. Sino pa ito nag-raise hand?
Ako po, ma'am.
Identify yourself.
Angeline.
Angeline, yes, Angeline.
The
4 substages.
The first stage is prophase, the second stage is metaphase, the third stage is anaphase, and the fourth stage is telophase.
Okay, and the answer is correct. Those are the 4 stages of mitotic phase which we will discuss next meeting, and that is tomorrow. So tomorrow we will discuss how the cell divides in mitosis. Okay, do not be absent because the topic is quite complicated. Masaro sa yun pahiyain nga cell cycle. But tomorrow, we will be discussing a very important event in the life of the cell, and that is mitosis. Okay, so in the cell cycle again, there are but only 2 stages in the cell cycle. The first is interphase, where the cell prepares for mitosis. Interphase means resting stage of the cell. Here, the cell takes a rest in division. So napahuway hiya pag-divide. That is what we mean by resting stage of the cell. Okay? It is, as what I have said, it is during this stage where the cell is very busy preparing for a very important event in its life, which is mitosis. Okay? Or cell division. Okay. Now, interphase is divided into 3 stages. Gap 1, interphase, and gap 2 phases. In gap 1, ano pa na itong gap 1? Cell grows. makes RNAs and proteins, makes organelles, absorb more nutrients, or the cell absorbs more nutrients to have more energy for the next stage, which is synthesis phase. In synthesis phase, DNA makes an exact copy of itself, a process which we call as DNA replication. So after synthesis is gap 2, ay nagamit naman an energy niya during
Ma'am, wala po
synthesis.
akong naririnig.
Bakit po? What about the others? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Here, ma'am, I had great trouble hearing you.
Some
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes po, ma'am.
Siguro signal it may problema. Nababati niyo takon tingog from the very start.
Yes, ma'am.
Nagbukaan pa iya, nag-fluctuate.
Yes, ma'am.
Ako, ma'am, nag-fluctuate po yung audio ko.
Akon audio.
Yung sa akin po, ma'am, because of slow Wi-Fi.
Ren po, ma'am.
Ala, sige. So, magkukan nga rin ka mo. Ayaw ka mo kukan na kay, kung di rin na ka mo mabati akon, most likely, iyo signal it maraot. Na-interrupt kasi akong discussion. Ini nga, pagbiling ka mo diretsohin, maupay nga signal. Ha? Okay.
Opo, ma'am.
So, hain na kita doon. Nawara alugod ako. Nakadto na kita sa Japan. Kaya nga balik naman kita na Manila. Nakay na kita doon.
Synthesis, ma'am.
Synthesis. So, in synthesis, DNA makes a copy of itself. An exact copy of itself. A process we call as DNA replication. After the DNA replicates, comes the gap 2 phase. Here, the cell will again grow. Masulig pa hiya. The cell will again make RNAs and proteins. The cell will again make organelles. Another replication takes place. Not with DNA. Anan mag-replicate din eh?
Centrioles.
Centrioles, very good. If your answer during the summative test is centrosome, it is still correct. Ano? Itong centrioles, adat hiyat centrosome. The organelle is the centrosome. The centrioles, adat hiyahit centrosome. So it is actually the centrosome that replicates. So pag-replicate itong centrosome, so with the centrioles. Okay, so microtubules will be made during this stage. So after gap 2, the cell is very much ready to divide. And that is mitotic phase. Masulod na hiya mitotic phase. Dire pa nga ni ready itong cell, itong interphase, kung dire pa niya human itong interphase, it will not enter mitotic phase. Humanunlat ani niya. Pareho ito nitong elementary, di ka pa nga ni human elementary, di ka makakag junior high school. Di mo nga mo junior high school, di ka makakag senior high school. Di mo nga mo matbukos nga high school, di ka makakag college. Pareho itong cell division. Itong cell cycle. Okay, stages nga, stages. So, dapat makukumpletoan na itong first stage antes sumulod ngadto itong second stage. So, interphase must be completed first before the cell enters the next stage, which is mitotic phase. Okay? Questions? Questions? Are there questions? So are there questions? Meron bang tanong? Kunwari pakiana, mag-quiz ako. Short quiz.
Ma'am,
Sige. Sige,
ano
pakiana
po
na para waray quiz.
meaning hit mRNA?
mRNA. M stands for messenger. RNA naman is ribonucleic acid. So kapag kaya na mRNA laanay, mRNA, so it is actually messenger RNA or messenger ribonucleic acid. I will discuss that in detail when or during ano kaya nga topic central dogma, transcription and translation. So iaagi ka mo mga mRNAs. Okay, so another question. Another question. Feel free to ask. Otherwise, akot mapakian na. Feel free to ask. Marie, napakian. Yes, Marie Vincent. Marie
Ma'am,
Vincent.
accident na po ato, ma'am. Accident sa...
Ano?
It was an
Another
accident,
question.
sir.
Another question.
Ma'am, ang cytokinesis, ma'am, yada kuhan cytoplasm?
No, nucleus. Cytoplasm, yes. Cytoplasm, cyto, division of the cytoplasm. Mitosis is division of the nucleus. So nag-overlap ito nila. Anyway, we'll discuss that tomorrow. So nag-overlap ito nila, cytokinesis and mitosis. Meaning, nagdudungan hira, dungan hira nga panhitabo. Dire pa na human ang mitosis, sa cytokinesis na. Nakikidungan hiya, kumbaga. Makikidungan or nakikidungan. Another answer? Another question rather? Another question. Nadari ako actually may ada tapat time pero mabibitin kita itong mitosis. Mitosis kasi mitosis discussion is quite long. So we will allot the whole session for that tomorrow. Another question? Waray na. Sige, mag-quiz ako. Okay lang ka mag-quiz? Ha? Okay, agad ka mo. Did you learn something today? Kay duduhala ito. It is either nahibaro ka mo tanan nga waray pakiana or waray niyo nahibaruan nga waray niyo igpapakiana kay waray niyo nahibaruan. Waray niyo naintindihan rather. Okay, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. Paray na? Okay, so that ends today's discussion. Tomorrow again, please don't be absent. Please join the Zoom meeting tomorrow. Please join the lecture tomorrow. We'll be discussing a very important topic, and that is cell division. And that is mitosis. Mitosis or mitotic phase. Now, I have already uploaded mitosis in the Google Classroom, and I have also uploaded a video clip for this. So please try to visit the Google Classroom. Okay. Try to read in advance also mitosis. Para buwas, diri na makura itong pag-absorb iton aton lesson. Kay may ada na niyo buti nga, may ada na niyo idea May ninyo idea what mitosis is all about? Okay? Ano, wala ka ng picture ha? Please turn on the camera. Turn on the camera kay dire naka-on it camera meaning waray not dia to natakuan oras. Lalalakat na. Control. Okay, second page. Second page lang kita. Okay, go to the second page. Okay, so this is all for now. See you tomorrow. We will start the discussion at 2 o'clock.
Thank you, ma'am.
Goodbye and
Bye, ma'am.
thank you.
Bye. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you for your lesson.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Ah.
Bye.